Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. My name's Destiny. We do book things here, and today I want to talk about the power reading two books together so closely can have. So, I have been on this, not tangent, this path. Path sounds good. And I have been reading so many more audiobooks and being picky about what I pick up and when I pick it up. Not so much of me setting up a TBR, but me understanding what I'm reading now will relate to something else. And how if you read certain books back to back, it may change your rating on them. And I thought that was a really interesting topic because recently I read I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou and then went right into Female of the Species by Minnie McGinnis. Um, they both have trigger warnings for rape. They both have trigger warnings for SA. And in Maya's case, she tells you and she explains how she blamed herself for this. She felt like she was the problem. She felt like she was in the wrong. And in Female of the Species, that is not the case at all. The predator is blamed, and it's a look at how our society responds to that action. And so I thought it was really interesting the fact that I read both of them back to back without knowing that. So I went into I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, knowing that's a thing, knowing that's a warning, knowing that was a potential trigger for me going in. Female of the Species, I did not. I picked it up because everyone had been talking about it and was in love, and I remembered that from a couple years ago and thought, you know what, Script has it, let's pick it up, let's see if I like it. And I fell in love. I cried so hard when the ending came. And in both cases, I just wanted to hold those little girls and tell them that there's nothing wrong, they're not broken. And I think Maya, by the end of that book, by the end of I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, does reach that point where she doesn't think she's broken. And Alex Alex goes out the way I think she should have. It was perfect. Because she went out fighting for what she believed in. It's interesting to look at the fact that I read both of them so close together and gave them both 5 stars. And I think that if I had read them separately, I'm sorry if you hear Freya. I fed her and she wants in the house and she's not coming in the house tonight. If I had read them further apart or not as close, I don't think I would have gave them as high praise. I would have been as much in love with them because when I finished I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, I did not want to leave Maya. I wanted to stay with her. I wanted to live in her words. I just wanted to live in that book. And picking up Female of the Species, while it didn't have the beautiful prose that Maya's did, it did give me that sense of home again. And it gave me like almost instantly I was in it and I was in love and I was like rooting for these characters and going through their trials and tribulations with them, and like I was there. And I think, like I said, if I read them separately I wouldn't have done that. The other ones I did that with is, hold on, because I can flip and tell you exactly the ones, because this is more of a negative view instead of a positive one. Horrid by Katrina Leno and This River Has Teeth by Erica Waters. They are both a very weird. They're very, very weird. Horrid follows a girl who her mother and her end up moving into their grandmother's house. After her father dies and they find out that they're bankrupt because her father has like gambled away all their money basically. And where shit starts happening, she's seeing shit, and you're kind of left not knowing if it's paranormal or what. Like, you don't know. And through the whole book, you are confused as shit trying to figure it out. And This River Has Teeth is kind of the same thing. But This River Has Teeth does have does have trigger warnings for SA and violence as well. They're both that speculative fiction where there's something you think something paranormal is going on, but you're not 100% sure. You're not sure what's going on. And I read them back to back. Horrid, I gave 5 stars. I actually gave both of them 5 stars. But honestly, I wish I had read them more further apart, because I ended up comparing them a lot throughout reading. I read Horrid first, and when I finished it, I was like, what the fuck did I just read? And I wanted more of that weirdness, and so I started looking up books that are recommended with Horrid, or recommended videos that Horrid pops up and something else does as well. Those kind of videos, and This River Has Teeth popped up, and I fell in love. It's vivid. It is beautiful. The prose are there. I think This River Has Teeth was better written, and I wish I had waited to read it, because it made me want to take my rating for Horrid from from 5 to a 4, because I read them so closely. The other one I did that with is Dowry of Blood and Into the Drying Deep. I read them pretty closely. I finished Into the Drying Deep and then picked up the audiobook for A Dowry of Blood. And I wanted the Dowry of Blood to be more bloody, because I had just finished like a bloodbath of a book, and I wanted some more of that. I thought that was going to be it, and it wasn't. It's just an interesting thing to think about, that we as readers tend to live in fictional worlds, and living in these fictional worlds, sometimes you don't want to leave, and you look for books that are either like them or give you the same vibes. And I think it really does affect our ratings, because nothing is going to be identical to the book you just read. I purposely have never read any of the ones that are recommended for fans of ACOTAR, or this is like ACOTAR. Like, I have not picked any of those up, because none of them are going to be ACOTAR for me. Like, ACOTAR is ACOTAR. There's nothing else. Like, there are themes that are the same. There's that found family element that I absolutely love. There is that sense of a badass female protagonist that I love, that in other books I have picked up. But ACOTAR is ACOTAR for a reason, and I don't want to pick up something that's going to feel like a fanfic of it. Like, I don't do fanfics. I've never read any fan fiction. It's just not for me. But when I fall in love with a set of characters, or fall in love with a character, it's that character. Like, there's not going to be another one for me. It's an interesting thought process to think that if you really look at your shelves, you can find themes that you love to read. And we tend to we get moods. I get into moods where I want one thing at a time. I just finished filming my May wrap up, and if you've seen that one, you'll know that I've read a lot of Agatha Christie this month. A lot. I have been on an Agatha Christie kick for about almost 2 months now, I think. Pretty much about 2 months. And I'm loving it, but I am in a mystery mood. I want a book that I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I'm currently reading Belladonna as well, and it's not holding my attention as much as my audiobooks are, because it, to me, does not have that element I want. It does not have... It's not enough of a mystery for me, and it's honestly because the main protagonist is not she's not a detective. Like, she's a sleuth, and she's trying to figure it out, but not really. Like, she's doing other things but trying to figure this mystery out. And I think that if I wasn't in such a mystery mood and have read so much Poirot, I probably wouldn't feel that way and I would be in love with Belladonna. But since I have read so much Poirot and so much Agatha Christie, and I want that locked door mystery where, like, our protagonist's main concern is figuring out what the heck is going on, Belladonna's just not doing it for me, because she is trying to figure out what's going on, but she also is worried about society, also worried about not making a mistake, a big mistake, because she hasn't been around high society very long. I just don't think it's the time for this one. And I have like 100 pages left, and I don't want to put it down. It is a library book, and I've honestly thought about DNFing it a couple times. And it's not like a hard, I'm not going back to it, but more of a, I'm just going to put this down right now because I know my mood. I'm going to give it a low rating because I'm not in the mood for it. And I think that's the problem with mood reading, to be honest with you. When you're a mood reader, your mood depicts on how you rate a book. I am not a reviewer that's going to give you a critical review. That's just not who I am. I'm not going to talk about sentence structure. I'm not going to talk about prose very often. Unless they are very beautiful and flowery, I might not even say anything. I mean, that's just not who I am. I go off more on vibes and moods, and I am definitely here to read for fun and not for critical acclaims or anything like that. Your girl has never really read the classics because they usually don't interest me. Except a picture of Dorian Gray. That one I'm fixing to listen to. I think this might be the next audiobook I pick up. But it's just interesting to think of our moods and how they can lead you. And how you will read a book and then I keep saying you, but I'm definitely in this camp for sure. I jump into another one almost immediately, and I'm looking for something like that. That's why I started picking up the Poirot books, because I wanted a mystery, and Agatha Christie's been scratching that itch for me, and I just want to read everything she wrote because of that. I am doing a challenge with myself, and I'm reading my June TBR, and I'm reading from top to bottom. So I have them all stacked up, and I can only flip them once. It's a little disheartening and a little scary because I stacked it kind of purposefully. I did not try to screw myself over. I did stack it kind of purposely. The first one is a very short, 100-page book. So once I finish it, it's just going to give me momentum to continue to read. But I put the books I'm least excited about at the top and the ones I'm most excited at the bottom. And I'm not allowing myself to flip unless I'm going to DNF something. And I haven't started on that yet. I'm trying to finish Belladonna before tomorrow. And so it's just I'm trying to fight my mood reading my mood reading, because I don't want to be controlled by my moods in any aspect of my life, not just my reading, but mostly my reading right now. I don't want to be controlled by my moods, and I have been. And I think as mood readers, that affects the books we read. Making it full circle now. You're getting another rambly thought video. And I think that sometimes mood reading can give us a good kick in the butt, like with I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings and Female Species, and sometimes it can have a negative impact, like Horrid and These Rivers Have Teeth. But sometimes it also is a neutral effect with my Poirot books, because I have been reading through them all, and I've enjoyed all of them, even though they're all locked door mysteries or mysteries where you're following a detective. I think that picking up the Poirot books actually has helped, because I have finished the Mr. Mercedes series by Stephen King this month because I picked up the Poirot books. sorry, my watch was doing something crazy. Because I picked up the Pro books, it made me want to finish the Mr. Mercedes series, and I'm so happy I did. It is a series that I will definitely reread, which honestly got me to reorganize my shelf to see what I had on there that I hadn't read and stuff like that. It was just very interesting to see like how my moods move me through the month, and how much reading I get done and what I end up picking up to read based on my moods. I just think it's super, super interesting. But yeah, like I said, I think I've said enough. I'm sorry about the rambly video, but sometimes I get a topic in my mind and I just need to talk it out with you guys. And this was one of those. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully it's not too hard to follow my train of thought and it makes perfect sense. I may start trying to script these out a little better to try to keep me on a path, but I enjoy watching the rambly videos where somebody's just talking to the camera about something with a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. It makes me smile every time I watch one of those. Caitlin, I think she changed her channel. She used to be Co's. I think it's just Caitlin Coffee Talks now. I love watching her coffee talks and just watching her, like, I know she probably scripts them out really well because she does not ramble. She like has a path and her brain's straight on it. I love watching them and just like listening to her talk while I do stuff around the house. And this is kind of my version of that, but my ADHD brain does not do scripted well. And I know if I script out a video, it's going to sound very scripted. And I'm just going to read from a piece of paper, and I don't want to do that. So hopefully the more I make these, the more natural they come off and the more it feels like you're just listening to a friend rant about something. But yeah, that's about all I gotta say. I will see you on my next one. If you've not noticed yet, for the month of June, I'm doing a video every other day. I just want to get in the habit of filming and get used to the camera again, get used to talking to it, and it won't happen unless I do film. And it won't happen unless I film daily and like just get used to being on camera again. I'm considering bringing vlogs back because I kind of miss them, and sometimes I have a thought that I really want to share and I don't have anywhere to share it right now because I'm not doing vlogs. So that may be in the works for July. We're going to go another month without vlogs in June and see how I feel. We're going to do weekly check-ins. You haven't got one for the end of the month of May because you got my May wrap up, but you will get one about mid-July or mid-June. And yeah, I will see y'all in my next video. Bye guys.